So good evening, everyone. It's an honor to be with you tonight. I'm John Hansen, the Vice President of Student Academic Services here at Eastern Wyoming College. And tonight it's exciting to be able to share with you a little bit about Eastern Wyoming College and helping people get a jump on their future. And part of thinking about what it is that you're going to become in the future is really the kind of person that you are. Now, I know that our dual credit students are amazing. They set the mark. They work exceptionally hard, and it's just one of the true treasures that we have as being an EWC faculty member here. So a little bit about me. I grew up in Newcastle, Wyoming, and farming and ranching background. We were, a family. We were really big into FFA and 4-H. We started showing pigs, and then we tried to show a little bit of everything. But pigs is where we had our most success. And when I got ready to go off to college, I tried to make a decision. Is it going to be this agricultural route or speech and debate? I was also really big into debate and football. And so debate is what won out in my life. And kind of my thing is that as you're trying to figure out who or what you're going to be, as you're focused so intently on you, it's important to think about the people that are around you. When you get ready to launch and work towards your professional self, and that's really what dual credit is about getting a jump on life, it's really the people that are also beside you. And one of the things when you look at the Harvard Business Review and you look at what makes successful people in life, it's also the folks that they bring along with them. And it's about kind of this network of ideas. And so I have a little story to share with you from my life. So when I was in high school, they hired me. I worked at this church camp, and actually on a wagon train, and then also at this Fort Courage. So we ride horses, and I was a little bit of a wrangler, and then also assistant cook, and then I turned into be the head cook, which and I think in this day and age, would you let a 17-year-old plan meals and cook over a campfire? I look at my own children, and I'm like, Lexi Grace, you have to put water and the macaroni and cheese in the microwave, and so it was an amazing time. But one of the most amazing things, I think, if you can sit around a campfire with someone, I think you can solve a lot of the problems in the world, because there's just something about that. You listen to the crackle of the fire, and you listen, and you look up in the stars, and all that seems to be right with the world. But one of the evenings, there was an old Indian chief that came to talk to us, and one of the words he shared with us was "Matakue Asen," which means everything's connected. And I think you feel about that when you get into college or you're working towards who you're going to be in high school. In high school, it's very easy to feel alone because people are trying to figure out who they are. They don't know. But in college, it's about developing who you are. And he shared Matakue Asen, that we're all connected. And it not only is about you being successful, but it's about looking back and helping those people around you, because that's who's going to help you in life. If you look at where businesses are started, it's because of the friendships and the partnerships that you form in college. So you have to get outside of your comfort zone. Talk to your teachers. Throw yourself into what you're interested in. Ask the big questions in life, because it is that relationship. So this is a story he told. He said that there once was a great king, and he had two sons that were going to take over being the chieftain, and they would wrestle. They would constantly try to outdo one another. There was a 2-year separation between them, the older brother and the younger brother. And it seemed that no matter how far the distance of running, how strenuous it was to climb a mountain, the older brother always seemed to win. And it was nothing that the younger brother could do. No matter how much hard energy and effort he put into his life, he was never able to win. I think we probably all have been there. Everything you're doing. And so anyways, it came to the great time when the grandfather, the chief, was getting ready to pass on the crown. And in getting ready to pass on the crown, there was going to be a great race. And whoever came in first was going to become the new chief. And the younger brother stayed up all night, figured out logistics. If I do this, if I don't eat, if I don't sleep on this 2-day race, I think I can beat him. I just have to give it all that I have, and I need to focus 100% on this. and I can win. So focused on winning. So the race begins, and all of the folks in the village, they line the street, and they cheer them on, and the race begins, and they take off, and they're running as fast as they can, and they come to a village, and as you're running by, and you're seeing things zip by in the corner of your eye, he sees there's a mom with a child, and he notices they're hungry. And he has this thing pop in his mind. You know, when I slow down and I become chief, I'm going to make sure that everyone has something to eat. And one of the things that the father did to make sure that his kids ran really fast in this race is he gave them a lump of coal that was on fire. So the faster you ran, the brighter the ember burnt. And then when you get back from the race, you got to light this big signal fire. Here's one of the ways that the chief made sure that they would push themselves to the absolute limit to make sure that lump of coal that was on fire would keep burning. And so the young kid thought about that as his older brother. He's like, I can't stop, I got to keep going, but when I'm chief one day, I'll make a difference. I think we've been there. I think we've thought about, when I get to where I'm going, then I'll look back. They come to the next town, and he sees, it's getting to be dark, and he sees a family, and the older brother is pulling away at this time, and the scene replaces itself and repeats itself. Finally, at the end of the next village he comes to, and he realizes that his family really needs to eat. It's cold. They need warmth. He takes his lump of coal and shares it with them. And he decides at that moment that maybe not in life is it all about racing. Sometimes it's about helping those around you, and he just made an agreement with himself that would be okay. I will light their fire. I'll be okay. I could be second place. I can still do great things, not being the chief. I can still be me. I don't have to be first. And he knows that his older brother is lapping, is running back home now. And so he slows his pace a little, and he's deep in thought, but he's still running hard. And as the day turns to night and back into day, he gets back to the village, and what he sees is that the signal fire is not burning. You see, the thing is that the older brother never stopped to help anyone. He didn't reignite his coal. But the younger brother did. And then he became chief. And so it was this amazing thing, listening to this story around a campfire, is that in life, yes, you're going to be focused on running. You're going to be focused on becoming the best that you can be, dual credit, and thinking about your job and your career. But don't forget to look to the left, look to the right, look behind you. Because there will be people that you need to form connections with. There will be people that are going to lift you up when you need it. And so you are going to begin a race. It's important for you to be so focused on yourself and your dreams and your goals. But our dreams and goals also touch other people's lives. And that's just kind of the genesis and the spirit here at Eastern Wyoming College, is that you get a chance to find yourself. You get a chance to figure out what it is that you like, and what you love, and what your passion is. And you get a chance to be able to find other people that are really excited about, if it's in nursing, and they're really excited about doses and animals, if you're in vet tech, and you get business and starting and entrepreneurship, you get to find your passion. And then you get to form a little bit of a network. And so, as you're thinking about what does this college mean, tonight we are going to go over the X's and O's of it. But we're also going to go over you. As you're racing and you're thinking about it, don't forget to look and form those kinds of relationships. You have the opportunity to form the relationships with your teachers and your fellow peers. It's an amazing time to be entering a higher education. So, with no further ado, we're going to get on with our presentation tonight. And we think about dual credit, we think about the fast track. And that's why we're here, is that you're getting a jump start on your future. Is it a failure if you complete one dual credit class? Anyone? No. You may decide you want to get a full associate's degree. One of my daughters, she's getting her associate's before she graduates high school. As a parent, I'm like, I didn't know whether that would be possible. We also have twins that are freshmen, and they've looked at how hard their older sisters worked, and they're not doing that at all. So the point is this, is that you got to find what you love, and then you should chase it. what a success means to you and how many credits and these things. And there is no right or wrong. There is no cookie cutter response, okay? If you complete one class, that's amazing. You're going to learn about yourself and who you are, that maturation process. If you complete more, that's excellent. And maybe you do want to sign up for the full Tour de France and you want to knock out the first 2 years of your life in college. That's amazing. One thing I can tell you about dual credit, and I would say there's some amazing women in this room that really helped my daughter get to where she's at. One even got up in the middle of the night to register her for a class that she dropped within the window, okay? She was a good kiddo, but the point is this, is that when we're talking about, we have a team of people that are all in on your vision. They're all in. I mean, literally watching her get across and get her degree up here is going to be amazing, because it wasn't just her in that race. There's a whole group of people. And that's the way you're going to be joining. And so it's a great time. Okay. So here's some statistics. There are 15 million undergraduates in this country. There's roughly 345 million people in the United States. The national debt for student loans is about 1.3 trillion. That works out to about $5,000 for every man, woman, and child in this country. And it is a big thing. What do you think happens to someone, or how many years can you take out a student loan for? We'll just start there. We'll go down here in the front. How many years do you think you can take out a loan for? 2 years? A little bit higher. Okay, 4 years. What do we got in the middle here? Well, how many years can you take out a student loan for? And a phone a friend. Mom's like, I don't know.
He asked, and I don't know.
Okay.
I've never had any loans.
So there you go.
So I was like, I don't know.
So here's the number, which I didn't even know this was until our new financial aid person informed me. So when I went to college 30 years ago, you could do a 30-year loan, which is, yeah, your eyes are like, man, I don't even understand that. Like, you've been alive like double almost what I've been paying out a loan. And that's one of the reasons why there is $1.3 trillion of student loan debt, is you can take out a loan for 30 years. It's like a mortgage. And what do you think happens in a young person's life when they graduate and they got to make a $200 to $300 payment of a student loan? What do you think happens? Do they buy houses right away? I know, like, you can just look at your paycheck each month and go, well, that was a brand new, whatever you want to drive, just light it on fire. The point is this, is that being strategic, thinking about scholarships, thinking about loans and money, there's a huge cost savings about dual credit. It's the same kind of thing. If you invest your money when you're young, how much money you'll have when you're older just is not very much fun. It's the same thing about dual credit and buckling down and chasing your dreams. You know, every hour that you spend now is like worth 5 hours to you in the future, because you're saving money, you're saving time. And I'm not saying you got to figure out how much money and time you want to save, but there's just real opportunity there, and it's a great way to think about it. 38% of adults have a bachelor's degree or higher. And so you think about, you're going to be in this amazing number, the top 62% in the country. And you see that 54.3% of Americans have some form of higher education. One of my favorite statistics on here are that 58% of undergraduates are women. What happened to all the men? Anyone? Carrie, where are all the men at?
Playing basketball.
Yeah, playing basketball. You know, and we have a famous saying that I say, the future is female. Because when you look at a society that's really educating and moving, women are becoming more highly educated at a quickening rate. And so, not that college, there's a formal education, but there's also different kinds of money you can make in the trades. Hard work, and a lot of different ways to make money in America. But it is amazing the number of young women that are showing that. You can see the average tuition and fees for public four-year college, $11,260, and then of course the tuition and fees at EWC and the University of Wyoming. So let's talk a little bit about money and the cost of college. What's the biggest amount of money that you've heard that it costs to go to college? Anyone? I mean, how many people watched the NCAA tournament and heard about High Point University? Yeah, in the back, there we go. You know, and then the stories just got wild. Like, did you know that every dorm has a lazy river that connects itself? Which is untrue, okay? But they do have a 5-star steakhouse and a 5-star, hibachi grill. And then joining us tonight is also President Dr. Haas, and he'll say a few words here in a little bit. But that was my initial thing, was like, man, can we just duplicate the 5-star restaurant one night? And we kind of do that during our evening of elegance and feed the kids prime rib. And so it really is a pivot. But yeah, what's the biggest number that you've heard that college costs? Parents, what number are you shooting at me? Trevor's like, come on. Mom's like, listen, it's a lot. Just throw some zeros on there, Trevor. What do you got for me, Trevor? What number are you thinking? 4 years of college. You're like, I don't listen. So if you look at the Ivy League, these things, they're doing about a year at $50,000. High Point was about $73,000. And you think about that could be $250,000. So the news media loves to report on those things, but there's an advertised rate and a discounted rate. It's kind of like the reverse of a used car salesperson, where they're like, look at how cheap this is. Colleges love to talk about this, and then there's scholarships that get applied, or federal financial aid that gets applied, outside scholarships. But I just wanted to put up here just so that you can frame this in your mind, and you can think about return on investment. So at Eastern Wyoming College, our tuition and fees are $4,470 for a year. Meals and housing is $8,196. So that's a total of $12,666. It's a little over $1,000 a month if you kind of think about making payments for your life. Now, in Wyoming, we have this amazing thing called the Hathaway Scholarship. And its total highest amount is $4,720. And what do you have to do to get the full Hathaway? Anyone? I know everyone's like, Allison, Allison's like, So, math and science, and the number one limiting factor is 25 on the ACT. And so, there really is this score that you need to get to. And it unlocks this $4,720. Otherwise, it's $3,000 and some. So, the point is this: as you're setting goals and you're thinking about the race that you're in, how do you get to 25? And what kind of studying are you going to do? What kind of preparation are you going to do? And it's something to just put in the back of your mind. I recommend taking a practice test. Where are you at? And it doesn't matter where you start at, it matters where you finish. So, at EWC, if you get the full Hathaway and you get a full Pell Grant, some of us may get Pell Grants, some of us may not. Some may get private scholarships, okay? But you can see that at EWC, you would actually make $551 going to college. Now, that's assuming a full Pell Grant, but generally either people get a Pell Grant or they get some other forms of scholarship. But the thing I want you to take away from the slide is that college is attainable and affordable. At the University of Wyoming, you can see the total cost there. Their sticker price is $20,342. Did anyone get their degree in this room from UW? Okay. And you said no loans. And then what was your experience about how much you had to pay, your parents paid per year? Or did you make money? Either one. It's a group thing, sister power. You took student loans, yeah. So the point is this, though, is if you start working at it, you can whittle down whether you get a Pell Grant or not. There is money out there. And even if you had to pay the sticker price there at $3,507 per year, you're like about $14,000. And to set up the rest of your life, the average student loan debt is about $20,000. So just living in Wyoming is an amazing thing. And they also have if you don't get the full Pell Grant, they have a Cowboy Up grant, which can be worth up to $4,000. So the point is this, is that college is affordable. Whether you do it here, you do it at the University of Wyoming, or a hybrid of both. Dr. Haas and I are working on a thing where you can become duly enrolled. And as a college, that's what we're doing, is we're not standing still. We're moving forward. I don't know when we'll get that enacted, but the point is this, is that we have a great relationship with the university. All right, so here we are. We're at the earn high school and college credit simultaneously. And it really is one of the best ways to meet your high school requirements and your college requirements and set yourself up for success into the future. So as I mentioned, there's zero cost. You get free materials, the Hathaway stretch, you get maybe you get so many scholarships that you can defer the Hathaway, which is a great thing, and faster to graduation. And not to brag on our president too much, but his daughter is actually going to be valedictorian of the high school, and which is amazing, and she's going out to do great things. And so I just mean, like, if you buckle down and you think about what is it that you want to be, what is it you want to become. And Dr. Haas, why don't you just come say a few words if you want, or I can have Karen run the microphone up to you. He wanted to welcome everyone here this evening as well. But the point is this, is that when you have a vision and a goal, you can achieve a lot. And so, the ability to do dual credit, be successful in high school. So, President Haas.
Thank you, and we really appreciate you being here tonight. And what I really appreciate about what John's talking about is, as you start thinking about an education, the world is definitely different today. And there's one thing, I'm sure John highlighted this at the very front end, but when you start thinking about the cost of the education and the return on investment, that is where people are heavily looking at what will that education afford you when you leave. That's why it's very, very critical for young people today, or even someone wanting to go and gain reskilling, to focus very heavily on that cost component within that educational system. What John's laid out today is the reality. I have been in a number of systems, and this is by far the most affordable system to look at that transfer piece that I've been involved with yet. And then looking across, and the state I came from was in Illinois, and they were very close to the affordability that Wyoming colleges are providing, but that is not the case everywhere. And what's really interesting, whether you earn an accounting degree, my oldest daughter works for Deloitte. She actually went to University of Illinois, and again, I do not put everything into ranking. Being a Michigan State Spartan, I would love to see her go there. But again, you always battle the in-state tuition. I grew up in Michigan, but we were living in Illinois at the time. So my daughter made that choice, and it was interesting as she was trying to evaluate accounting programs. One of the things she took a very hard look at was, well, Dad, they're number 2 in the country in the Big Four, meaning, and if you've looked at accounting, there's 4 firms that they call the Big Four. She wanted to go work for one of them for a period of time. Now, I will tell you, I tried to tell her, I'm not sure I really won this argument, but you could go to a lot of colleges that aren't ranked and still end up one of the Big Four. The question is, are you achieving a quality education, or do you have the right courses, the right requirements? And here's one of the things I think that's really interesting. Every individual student has to seek that path and look at what is the most affordable path to get there. And it can be very, very challenging, because many students will change majors, which means each time you do that, you will be paying for credits that may not transfer into that final degree. That affects scholarships, it affects Pell, and there's no easy way to understand all this. But you do have to take a very heavy look and make sure you do a lot of front-end research to find courses that transfer to the greatest number of areas. And our advisors, our faculty, are very equipped at helping you do that. But you still have to have that end goal in mind. But as my daughter walked through that evaluation, even with all my background and trying to advise and counsel, I'm not sure she believed all the stuff I was saying until she got out on the other end and she's like, oh, I guess I could have looked at some other options. So I really encourage you, don't leave any stone unturned. Come in, ask questions. I will tell you, whether it's Karen posted, I love counseling students. And I would tell you, if anybody says, well, here's some fields I'm interested in, we will find the right people within our college to help you achieve the goals that you're looking for. And that's the one thing I think I would just tell every one of you. Don't stop asking questions and evaluating what type of pathways you can take a look at, and then what type of course is best aligned to that. You know, this is interesting. We'll have a lot of, I've seen this at several colleges that I've worked in, and EWC is no different. We can have high school students who right now are taking a whole series of concurrent and dual enrollment courses. And if you take now, again, we're not offering welding at Torrington, but I was at a prior college, a student would take a welding course or an English course. And we would take an English course and a welding course. They would come to the campus and they say, well, I want to be a transfer student. Well, if you're a transfer student, that welding course is not going to transfer. If you went into our welding program, the English course doesn't matriculate into that program. It doesn't count. But in the parents and the students' minds, well, I have 6 college credits. Why don't they all count? Well, every course is designed for a pathway. And we're really actually spending a lot of time to help answer these types of questions on that pathway. We're rolling out some very sophisticated counseling software that we think can help in that process. It helps individuals identify what you think you want to do as a major and align courses with that type of pathway. So there are a lot of tools we can help you with in that planning process, but don't hesitate to ask a lot of questions. And the best thing is, reach out to Karen, come on to campus, and we'll find the right faculty. Because again, is anybody in here interested in like business, like going on to become a business major? Let me just test a few. No business majors? How about science majors? No science majors? How about career pathways like welding or advanced manufacturing, where you'd be looking at skill sets? No hands going up there. What are you looking at doing? What's your first name? Alex, undecided at this point? Okay. Transferring, maybe looking at a transfer option to transfer somewhere. So the undecided category does actually, this is a good point. If you're undecided, I would say this, start evaluating what major fields do you want to go into, because if you came in and said, well, Jeff, what classes should I start focusing on? If you want to go into engineering, it'll be a different set of courses than if you say you want to go into agriculture, or if you want to go into communications. So if you know an end field, that's pretty important to help you think about part of those steps. Otherwise, I could advise you to take some courses that may have no meaning in that pathway. Does that make sense? So thank you, Alex. How about in the back with the black hat? What's your first name?
Merrick.
Merrick? Very good. What are you thinking about going into?
Engineering or drums.
Okay, very good. And then like a 4-year degree in engineering type field, or it could be a variety of things.
Yeah.
So again, you know, math and science will be very, very critical. And so my daughter who went into accounting, you would have some courses that are very much the same, but there will be some difference in those fields. So knowing that passion of what you're thinking about, schedule a time with Karen. We'll connect you with faculty that can, the right faculty. Like again, there are areas I'm very effective at advising students on in their areas. I would rather see you talk to someone who has the background and discipline. In fact, if I could just jump right to the section in the back, what are your names? Oh, yes, in gray shirt. I'm sorry, what's your first name?
Trevor.
Trevor, very good. What are you looking at, Trevor?
Probably some sort of technical engineer.
Very good, technical engineer, a 4-year degree pathway probably? Okay, very good. So again, just make sure you're thinking about a lot of those pieces. So I doubt I added any more clarity than what John Hansen talked about, but I will tell you this, as you think about those types of fields, just make sure you're exploring that, coming in and asking as many questions as possible. And if I could, what's your first name in the blue shirt? Katie, what are you looking at field-wise?
Law.
I'm sorry, could you say that one more time?
Law.
Okay, very good. And of course, even a community college or a university, you'll see a lot of things that say, well, come to our institution, we have a great pre-law program. Have you seen that in any literature? Okay, I'm glad you haven't, because I came from a college that did that with everything. We're pre-business, pre-law. Reality is nobody's pre-law. There's a law program, and then there are requirements to get into law school, which many cases is a baccalaureate degree coupled with maybe an emphasis in a package, like in a field that you would like to focus on for law. So again, a place that I went to, Michigan State, they have a massive packaging program at Michigan State. They're not the only school. There are a dozen schools that have packaging majors. So when you go to the store and you buy all these different products in packaging, there are people who literally major in how to work with each one of those companies, everything from Doritos to Pepsi, to design patented packages. There's a whole field of law attached to that. Or if you want to become a CPA, if you want to go become an attorney that works on tax law, many CPA, certified public accountants who start a business school, will then apply to a law school, and each law school has a different designation. So go research the things you're interested in, and here's what I think is fun in that process. You'll start identifying which colleges will have the types of law degrees that you're interested in, and which baccalaureate programs will then align with those type of law programs, because it's not a one-size-fits-all at every single scenario. So again, do a lot of that preliminary research, but start with the thing, what is the part you're passionate about pursuing, and that will help you pick the right undergraduate. And where I'm confident, whether it's EWC, LCCC, Gillette College, you can go to Northwestern Nebraska, and of course we'd love to see everybody come here. We also recognize that's not going to be the case. Not everybody's going to choose EWC, but at the end of it, wherever you do go, the things you want to look at here are those first 2 years of your requirements that will transfer to any university or college where you want to achieve a baccalaureate degree. And not every college, right? We all offer a lot of different courses. So know where you want to transfer to, and you can do a lot of research in advance. You know you're going to UW. Our pathway is really well tracked at UW. If you're going to Chadron State, all the Wyoming colleges are very well tracked to the colleges surrounding. But if you step outside the 60-mile, 200-mile radius of Wyoming, you're probably going to have some colleges that you may look at that just aren't well pathed for us, but it doesn't mean we can't align courses. So knowing that's a big part of working through that pathway selection. So just think a lot about that as you're getting ready for your selection. And again, come see Karen with lots of questions. Any questions for me? Really glad you're all here on campus tonight, so don't hesitate to follow up with any questions. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Haas. One of the most important things to keep on motivation is when you're trying to envision what it is that you're going to become. I like to say, whatever you should be, you must be. Whatever you should be, you must be. And so, Katie, if you're interested in being a lawyer, you got to start thinking about that, visualizing that now. And so, whatever you should be, you must be. And so, the minute that you start talking about those things, it becomes real in your life. And community college is one of the best places to get a jump start on what that future you looks like. So, it was just awesome to hear. And really, your stories are as much a part of our stories. We're going to be there. We're in the race with you. We're there to help you get to that next level. And it is the reason, it is the essence of what this community college is about. Okay. So, while we're on this vision quest together, we're racing, and we're thinking about your future, there are things that can happen. Sometimes life happens, and there's ripple effects. And what you got to realize is that you're starting your professional career in who and what you are. And there are some things, like if you get an F in college, okay? Let's say you get into, what's a class that you might go, I don't know if I want to take that class. Someone throw a class out there to me. What? Trig. Yeah, trig. My daughter's doing that right now. There's tears are shed in our household. And so yeah, there might be something like, I don't know. And sometimes when we go to like get out of a class that we don't enjoy, or maybe you need to reapproach it, people just walk away. Because when you're in high school, someone takes care of it, right? If you just stop going, you got these lovely counselors, and they'll be like, hey, how about we do this? In college, there's also that. But if you leave without doing paperwork, if you leave without telling someone, if you leave without taking care of business, there could be unintended consequences. Such as, if you get an F, it will stay on your transcript. They used to remove them when you would retake the class, but it stays there permanently now, okay? And so, we'll talk about that a little bit, but your transcript and who you are, the future you, okay? And so when you make a commitment, I'm going to do these things, you need to honor that commitment. There's a couple weeks before the semester begins where you can horse trade, okay? But literally planning now is important. Thinking about what it is that you want to be. And dual credit is a great time to try things, okay? You don't have to have it all figured out. There's a general pathway, but as you take more credits, your decision to that vision needs to be aligned. Whatever you should be, you must be. So, the ripple effects. And some of it can impact federal financial aid. If you take 10 credits, you need to complete 66.6667% of them. So if you take 10 credits, you need to complete 7 of them, basically, in order to stay in good stead with the federal government. Okay, if you're getting a federal financial aid loan, if you're getting a Pell Grant, all right, just to stay on your pathway. Here's a good question for everyone. What is full-time considered under federal financial aid? How many credits do you have to take a semester to be full-time?
12.
All right, 12, yes. And if you are full-time, how many years does it take you to get a bachelor's degree if you're doing 12 a semester? Yeah, 5 years. You know what, I was just like, well, I don't know. I was working on my bachelor's, and everyone said it was a 4-year degree, and I went to school full-time, and that happens a lot. So we recommend that people build schedules when they get to college, at least at 15, if not 18, because staying on time to graduate. The number one defaulter on student loans are people that don't finish, okay? So as parents, now is not the time to cut the apron strings and just let them run, especially when dual credit. But it is forming that real relationship with your kid. What are you working on? What are you studying? Having open lines of communication. We used to sit around the dining room table. We don't have great conversations about trigonometry, but certainly intro to business or these things. So I just meant like you're in a race with your kids and you're helping them get to that place and talking about concepts and things. And parents, when you ask your kids, what did you do today? What's the normal response? I don't know, nothing occurred. But then you're like, good, thank God. Everything is good in the world. But what I'm saying is there's nothing wrong with asking them about what assignments are you working on? What are you learning about? Well, what do you think about this? Okay? Maybe our kids get annoyed by that, but actually they enjoy it. So I just meant as parents, it's a great time to find out about those things and talk about them and be involved in their lives. So here's a little bit of difference between the college and the high school. In the high school, parents have full automatic access to records. Everyone's in power school. You're able to look at the grades. Sometimes for your student, your kids are, automatic access. It's set up that way. If you look at, in college, we have a thing called FERPA. So FERPA laws, they block parent access without a signed release form. In the packet that you have tonight is a signed release form. So if you want to be, having very deep conversations with the counselors, there's still FERPA protections because it is a minor student. And so the way that it will work is the communication will flow from the college to the high school counselor to the parent. So if you would like heightened communication, there's nothing wrong with signing the FERPA release, okay? If not, things flow the same kind of way, but you can get answers to questions about things, okay? There's also one section underneath the FERPA release, which is on the very back, which is if you want the record to become confidential. That way, if the military were to ask for a list of our students, which is like legitimate under the Solomon Act, then they would be removed from that. It also could have some implications where we don't publish names in the newspaper, if you're on an honor roll, those things. So weigh that decision mildly. What I can tell you is just we usually get a couple requests for student information. Sometimes ACT asks that, other schools may ask that, but generally it's one from the military and then one maybe from a place called like LexisNexis, which is interested in student information. But if you are concerned about privacy, you can check that bottom box. Deadlines. What is the deadline in Goshen County for assignments? Anyone? What? Whatever your teachers say? Yeah, it's the world is moving, changing. And so yeah, your deadlines. A lot of times it's said that, you start out at a 50, and there's no failing. And not that there's anything inherently wrong with that, because it's about trying to get you to a form of mastery. But in college, there are deadlines. And there are things that you can't make up, you can't do. It's a different way of thinking. It's like in the working world. Your boss gives you a deadline. I need this done by now. Okay? So if you think about some of the best behaviors that the best students have, tell me about that. What is something, if I asked you, if you think about who is the best student you know, maybe it's yourself, what are some of the behaviors that they use to be successful in school? What do you think? Like, what does the best student do to be successful? They stay on their assignments? Yeah. They're constantly monitoring, right? In fact, they're the kids that remind the teacher that something's due, right? And then the rest of the class is like, you're going to get it. Yeah, so they remind the teacher. Trevor, what are some of the other better, or like very great things that good students do?
Study.
Yeah, they study. Study a lot, just a little. Yeah. There's so much conversation today about AI. AI will not replace you. It will replace people that don't have mastery, that don't know. If you ask AI, hey, what is the answer to this? The genius of what it means to be human in the future is knowing right from wrong. It's knowing what the answer is, not just accepting it blindly. Okay? There is a machine and algorithm that's going to tell you, hey, I have looked at all of these things in my expert AI mind, this is true. But what makes you uniquely human, what makes you employable in the future, is to actually know the answer. I think this is true, or I don't think that's true. I run a lot of projections here at the college, and it's a logical, linear models, but there's some things in life that are not linear. And garbage in, garbage out. But my point is this, is that if you want to be expertise in the future, it's really to learn your craft. Become an expert at whatever it is that you want to do. Have passion for it. And you become the best at it. You're someone that's knowledgeable. They will pay you. We just had a roof blow off of our college. We want to know who is the expert at roofs. It doesn't matter what you do. I remember, there's people that pay a lot of money just to learn how to pack up a house and move. Become great at whatever it is. Become great at being a lawyer or an engineer. Impact. Grades primarily affect the local standing. What I can tell you is that your lives are under a pressure cooker. It literally is a game of inches in high school. Will you become a valedictorian? What will your GPA be? How much money will that generate in a scholarship? It is easy to get overwhelmed and anxious. We have support services here. We have a whole college here that is interested in your success. We're gonna be there lockstep. But you know what the number one thing you need to do to get help is? Anyone?
Ask.
Yes, ask. I can't do this. I need help. Talk to your teacher. Tell us. Okay? You should not suffer in silence. It was interesting. We went to University of Wyoming and talked to their honors college, where you have kids that are really tightly wound. They're focused on success, and they just need someone to tell them, hey, we're here to help. That's what the genius of a community college is that we have people that are here to help, but you got to ask for it. All right. And of course, there's just kind of the graphical representation. Parents unlock the football ball and registration, but it's an active process, okay? So stay in connection with the counselor, stay in connection with Karen, and information will flow to them and to your student and to you. So, brand new, we have this digital application. It'll be released within the week, we hope, right? Week? 7 days, Karen?
It's going out tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Okay, so fresh off the presses, tomorrow. So you're going to be able to fill out this digital application, put your information in there. You'll be able to sign it digitally as a parent. And from there, you're going to have this advising meeting. And it's critical, as Dr. Haas was mentioning, to think about what it is that you want to do. You don't have to have it all figured out. But it is. It's good to think about what classes do you enjoy, what do you see yourself doing as a career, and to share that with our advisors, because then they can help orientate you towards those directions. And the more classes you take, the more important it is that we harden and fix your career pathway so that we can ensure that your credits do count, that they do align. All right? And then the third step is parental approval. So as parents, you get the opportunity to say yay or nay. And so, maybe you're not ready for your kid to take trigonometry yet. And so you're ready for it, okay? That's excellent. And so whatever it is, as parents, you're going to give the thumbs up or the thumbs down and work with the counselor. So it is an active participant process. So your schedule, we look at your high school graduation needs. You still have to graduate from high school, okay? Even if you're getting a college degree. My daughter, like I said, she's buckling down. She's going to get her degree from BWC while she's in high school. It is a big, meaningful thing for her in her life. And so you're going to figure out what it is, your pathway, what your goal is. And whether that's one class, two classes, or a whole bunch of classes, all right? And what is your future career path? And, I think as parents, our number one thing is we just want our kids to be happy. We want them to figure out, I think most of the time is how can I help them not make the same mistakes I made? Or to help them quicken, how can I help you get there quicker, easier, faster, stronger? Unless you're in the Spartan existence, but I just meant generally, we try to remove obstacles and provide better advice, okay? And that's what we look at. What is the future career path? Job shadow. One of the best programs that my daughter did was the CRT program, where you get earned credits and go work somewhere. And actually, which I think is just amazing, my daughter fell in love with the hospital. I mean, do you want to work in the hospital? No, me either. But she loves the patients, loves when there's a baby being born. Carrie's worked in the hospital. She's seen a thing or two. But the point is this, is that there is no greater joy than to see your kid just light up and they figure out what they want to do in life. Now, I don't know if she's going to end up there, but it gives, there's where you're headed is you get a chance to try things. Okay, so now that we've gone through the advising appointment, we see that we're going to log into Canvas, and it's Eastern Wyoming College's version of Canvas. The high school also has one. It's the same kind of platform. It's just that you need to go through the EWC website. You log in, and then you actually have to complete an assignment or effectively start a class. If it's face-to-face, you have to show up. Attendance counts. But we have a structure where we really want instructors, having an assignment within the first 2 weeks. But if you're in an online class, you actively have to complete an assignment to start it. What happens if you don't complete an assignment? You went through this whole laborious process, you got registered, you talked to Karen, you got this whole career pathway, everything is going great, and then you decide that you're going to go to state drama, state track, state something, shooting, sports, and you don't start your class in the first week. What happens? Anyone? Everyone's up there looking, and they're like, I don't know. Seems like there's a red route and a green route. We don't want to be on the red route. We'll actively remove the class because you have to start it. And it's just a promise that we've made as we hand out funds from the federal government that students have to actively start a class. It's part of our accreditation. You're going to actively do things for 15 weeks. It's the very marrow of what drives us as a college. So not only do you need to go through these steps, but you got to actively start it and hit the ground running. Okay, so this is very important to parents. And some of this, like I would say that during dual credit, we kind of have training wheels on you. Okay, for the first 2 weeks, how many classes can you drop or add without costing anyone any money? Anyone from looking at this slide? Throw a number out there. So there, you can add and drop as many as you want until Karen pulls her hair out, or her counselors, as you're making decisions. Okay, I'm going to try bio, and nope, don't like it. Chemistry, oof. Into accounting. Okay, I need psychology for all the changes I'm making. At any rate, the point is this: is you can make decisions to add or drop. Okay, and under dual credit, as a college, we're saying there's basically these 10 business days where you can do that. Then after that, you can see on the 11th day, if you're a full-fledged student here, you're only going to get 50% of your money back. Okay, and then you can see after that, there's no money back. And the other important thing I will say that depended on for folks is the withdrawal date. Okay, so you can withdraw up until basically right before the 10th Friday. And you'll have a W on your record, but you will not have an F, okay, or a D. The only thing that it will potentially affect in the future is some sort of quality points, but you'll be able to withdraw, okay? What happens if you go beyond the 10th week and you're failing a class? What grade are you going to get? Yeah, you're going to get a tutor or some divine intervention, right? One or the other. You're going to start studying or wait for a miracle to happen, right? And so you're going to get what you get. So that's the important thing, is that you're thinking about, and it's important for parents to know that, okay, how are things going? What is your midterm grade? How is this conversation? And dual credit can impact your high school matriculation. Are you on track to graduate? Are you on track to get to half the way? Okay? And then if you have to make a decision, it has to be final by that date. All right? Now, let's say that you may encounter difficulty, challenges. I think every parent in here may have had a challenging experience with an instructor. And back in my day, we used to have us look to the left, look to the right. Someone was going to be gone because there was only a 66% success rate. We're at about 78% of getting people through classes, and of course it depends on the class. But the point is this, is that if you have problems, your first thing you do as a student is you talk to the instructor, okay? And you say, hey, I didn't understand that, I had difficulty, I don't understand the grade, or I did this. If you're not able to resolve, then you move on to the department head or division chair. You can contact Karen and she can give you their information, okay? Just like our counselors, they're, again, your Sherpa, they're helping you on that journey. And they can get you to the division chair to talk about it. And then that's our informal resolution process. If we're not able to do that, then there are formal resolutions processes. But I would say 98%, maybe even higher, of all things, they start with the teacher, then the department chair, and then they can escalate from there. And so there's layers of support. But the most important thing is to let your instructor know if you're having any kinds of difficulties, or you don't understand why you got the grade that you did, or if you feel like it should be higher, okay? You have to advocate for yourself. Self-efficacy is one of the best skills to learn, one of the most difficult. But we have people here along the way. So here's kind of our final slide. The one thing I'll mention is that as you're getting ready to think about your future and you're going on out there in the world, one of the most important things is when you get ready to graduate, let's say you're heading into your senior year, you need to have a good resume, have a cover letter, have 2 to 3 letters of reference, people that can attest to it. So some of you are younger than that, and so then you're thinking about, okay, what teacher could I ask for a letter of recommendation? Who am I going to really put my whole heart and soul into? Maybe it's a coach who's seen you overcome adversity and challenge, okay? So as parents, it's important to put your kids in a place where they can have success and that someone can attest to who they are as humans, all right? So you think about a resume, cover letter, letters of reference. Then you're going to think about, okay, I have to get transcripts for my kiddos, all right? At the high school and at the college, all right? And then you make a plan. This is where, and you manifest it. This is where we're going to go to school, or this is what my safety school is, or this is where we're going to start, and then we're going to go here. And by planning and making it real, whatever you should be, you must be, and you will be, okay? And so that's just the way to think about it. The other thing I'll mention is that when you get all of these official documents and you get a portfolio put together, save some of your best work, all right? You're constantly competing against someone else out there right now, occupying the same place, the same position. And so you're going to do things to set yourself apart. There's a lot of scholarships out there. If you're going to go to Chadron or University of Wyoming or CU Boulder, CSU, wherever it is, you need to contact those schools. Go for a visit. See what their faculty are like. See where you fit in at, okay? Fitting in is so critical, it's so important. And just a word about that is we have clubs and organizations here at the college. We want you to be as involved in this thing as you would like, okay? Because it's a great place to get a jump start on your future you. All right, so again, as we head back to the very first story, you're on a race, and you're going to be running as fast as you can. You're going to be moving as hard as you can to get to the finish line. You need to look back, look to the left, look to the right, because the people you cross the line with are the bond, they're the connective tissue that's going to help you. And so don't forget that as you're running and you're moving. And we are part of that connective tissue. We have a great president here, and we really want your success. So thank you so much. Are there any questions? Yeah, we can go ahead and clap. I appreciate that. The applause. Me and Lady Gaga, the applause. Right? Terrible joke. So any general questions? Anyone?
Is there a limit as to how many classes they can take that are full credit?
No. In fact, so the state just passed a law. Now they're creating guardrails around what it means, but the state legislature said there is no limit. So I imagine there will be some guardrails put on there. We have a guardrail as a college that a student cannot do more than 18 credits without having me approve an overload. Okay. So like our cosmetology program. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to add that
Yep.
for Goshen County School District, they have to be enrolled in 8 periods a day. So some of your courses that are worth 4 credits or more take up 2 periods. So if that helps you any.
Yeah, so at the high school, you have to have a certain number, but at the college, you could do up to 18 credits without us overloading. And then we have to have a real conversation. We've actually had a couple high school students that have been able to manage that, but I've only seen 2 out of the 9, this is pretty amazing. Do you know how many high school kids take classes from us in a year? And we serve all the way to the Montana border. Any idea? 958. And so out of 958 students, and I would say in 3 years, so like 3,000 kids, I've only signed 2 that have overloaded and were successful. We didn't sign any that failed. So I'm just saying that, anyways, that just gives you scope. Any other questions? Good question. Any stock tips or who's going to win the Elite 4 final game? No one?
Michigan.
Michigan? All right, yeah. That rubs some salt in the wound for Dr. Haas. So, all right. Well, thank you all so much. It's a privilege of being here tonight, and thank you for spending your time with us. We appreciate it.